right, you bunch of yahoos, strap yourselves in for another episode of Dan and Don's Toxic Masculinity.
In other words, shut up, sit up, and pay attention.
And welcome back to another episode of Toxic Masculinity. I am here with my co-host, the man of men, the guy that scares everyone else, the guy with the most unruly mustache, Don the Predator Frye, and yours truly here, Dan to be Severn. And we have a couple. We're here to entertain, offend, defend anybody and everyone. These are merely our opinions. So if we offend some people, well, put your man panties on, because the title said it all in Toxic Masculinity. And our two special guests this evening, we have Mr. Todd Standing and Mr. Kevin Gilligan. And we're going to be talking about the topic of Sasquatch. You heard it right there, folks. Sasquatch.
They are free from everything. Like, can you imagine a Sasquatch wakes up in the morning from a tree, rolls out from a tree, has no possessions, nothing. He's naked, and he's waiting for me to do something. I brush my teeth, I put my glasses on, I get my boots ready, I tie, I prepare my lunch. I do all this shit. Takes us an hour to get ready. He literally rolled out and was like, let's go. He's got everything he needs right there. He doesn't do shit. He is prepared. Now that is freedom. If you can really he wakes up in the morning and goes, I'm going to have a bighorn sheep today, because he knows exactly where they are. I'm going to go get salmon. I'm going to have elk. Like, they live with that kind of freedom to do whatever they want, and nobody tells them what to do. They're completely free and transparent. And I'm trying to understand how that could even be to live that way. Like, no bills to pay, not owing anything to anybody. You're just really, truly free. And that's why I have so much. That's why I think we all have so much to learn from them, because at the end of the day, the bills don't fucking matter. You know, the clothes you're wearing, the car, all that shit. We put so much faith that what's going on in our social media, how many fucking followers is what kids are worried about now. Are you fucking kidding me? Yep. Who gives a fuck? Like that, like what the, that's insanity. Literally, the Sasquatch look at us and we're a bunch of zombies walking around staring at our goddamn little electronic devices that we can't do anything without. And they're going, man, you are so, like, that device is literally owning you. You can't do anything without it now. It's another control, you know? Who doesn't? I see old people, phone, staring at it, looking at it, playing games, needing that's another method of control, and it's fucking working.
Yeah. Okay. You go to a shopping mall and you just do a quick 360. Try to find the one person that does not have it in their hand. First off, it's awkward. You just can't shove it in your shirt pocket or something like this. And what blows me away is the chick who's wearing skinny jeans that I don't know how she ever got them on in the first place, with a shoehorn, I imagine. She's got that cell phone shoved in the back pocket. I'm thinking, that's $1,000 computer, and it's screaming, no!
Or yes. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's what people learn on my expeditions. I literally usually it goes like this. The wife is a little ticked at the husband for going out the first year. Then he comes back and he's new, he's refreshed, and the wife will literally say, I want him to go out every year. I don't know what you're doing to my husband out there, but I want him back.
How there. I'm curious as to what kind of refreshed, what kind of changes do you normally see, and how long is a typical excursion?
So I do 7 days.
Okay.
7 days, 7 nights, backcountry wilderness. First thing people will have trouble with on the first night or two is the silence and the nature. There's no voices, there's no even magnetic fields. We're so conditioned to be in civilization. When there's no magnetic fields, when there's nothing but the birds chirping, the wind blowing, you get calm and you feel surrounded. And the trees, people don't understand, the trees are living beings. They're old and they're so calm. They grow so peacefully. And you walk around barefoot and you connect to nature. You drink water from the glaciers. It's 20,000 years old, perfectly clean, amazing water. And you go out there and you're zen and you connect to nature. You feel it. You can't talk to anybody because cell phones don't fucking work. I have never seen an expeditioner out there with their cell phone. They literally put it away. Maybe the first day. After that, they put the damn thing away. We don't give a shit what time it is. When the sun goes down, we come back. When the sun goes up, we get up. When it's raining and shitty, we put on rain gear. When it's beautiful and sunny, we don't wear much. But we just out there to just be and connect to nature, and nature will get to you. It'll get into your pores. What happens too is something nobody in the whole world talks about. When you breathe in all that, it's not just the fresh air, it's the plants that you breathe in. All that stuff goes in, it's carbon, but it's plant carbon. It goes in your bloodstream.
You have to repeat that.
On day 3.
You have to repeat that. You chopped her up.
Okay, so on approximately day 3, after they've been breathing in all the fresh air, and it's not the fresh air, it's the sap and the trees and the grass that you're breathing in. It goes into your bloodstream. It removes all the toxins, and on day 3, people sleep 12 hours. Can't get up. And then day 4, it's 10 hours. Day 5, they want to get up in 8 hours. They feel charged up and they're sleeping good at night because all the toxins are gone, not just from them physically and from your bloodstream and your muscles and the fresh air. It's also the serenity that comes into your mind when you had nothing to do but just be at peace and calm. And God, I took my son out there for 2 days this year just to go do a little, make sure my trailer wasn't torn apart by the bears. He's like, Dad, I can't remember. Man, I slept so good, and the peace and the tranquility. You know, we are empathic. We do have that ability to hear our voices around us. Stuff affects us. And when you can just get away from that and just disconnect and let yourself get back to nature, we're all natural beings. You guys are fighters because you were built that way by nature, not by fucking the civilization that we've constructed here. You guys are built from nature. And the more you disconnect from that, the more you're denying your true self. And that's what the Sasquatch never disconnect. That's why they're so free and open. I mean, I can't even, I've actually seen Sasquatch scat, and I took it into a Fairmont restaurant, a fancy restaurant, and I was looking at it with Survivor Man because it was so clean. You know, it's like deer scat, elk scat, right? It's clean. There's no any human being defecates and I'm going to throw up because, you know, I mean, it's disgusting because we're pretty gross. And I get out there and we connect with nature in this incredible way that just, it's so addictive. And that's what this discovery is about people getting back to nature and reconnecting in a beautiful, deep spiritual way that just opens up humanity, that gets rid of those barking dogs, you know, that shows what's really important. You know, are you really clean? Like I tell people before they come on an exhibition, eat clean, and I go through their diet. And you think, well, that's fucking crazy. You know what? If you come out and you're toxic, the Sasquatch, they'll smell your urine because you're peeing in the bush, and they'll stay away from you because they judge you based on your toxicity.
Sure.
You know, and that's how real this is. It's emotional, it's spiritual, it's physical, it's connecting in every way. And they have no sympathy for the weakness. This is survival of the fittest. If you come out there and you're twitchy and you're afraid, they won't fucking come near you. They don't need that shit. They're gonna test your mettle. That's why I think Seeger would like both Don Frye and Dan Severn, because you guys have been through the fire. You guys have been under pressure, and Seeger understands that. And you guys will be better at interacting. And Seeger's the big giant male. He's the big giant beast. He's always watching. He's always paying attention. And something told me in just a vision, thinking about you two guys, that Seeger would love you guys. You're going to go out there and Seeger's going to know who you are and where you're from. There's a universal connection. He knows. I think that's why I'm here talking to you guys, because eventually you guys have got to come out and you'll see. And it's my ring. No bullshit. When you have your encounter, when you see a Sasquatch, when they come around and people are going to say, oh, Todd was hoaxing you, you're going to say, go fuck yourself. I was fucking out there in the bush. We bled, we fought, we survived together. Fuck you. I saw a Sasquatch. And that's what my expeditioners do. You don't fucking tell me, because I didn't see a person for 7 fucking days. We were alone. There was nothing there. And what happened couldn't have been done by a man, not just because of the physical power and the things that you saw, but most importantly, what you felt in your heart. And these beings, since they're so empathic, they'll connect to you. They'll open up channels in you that you didn't even know were there. And that's freedom that I was talking about. That freedom to just let yourself flow and break open and let this individual, this incredible being, let him open you up in a way I mean, that's the ultimate thing, is when the Sasquatch comes around. And they don't come around for chumps. They don't come around for weak people. I've experienced it so many times. Like this whole thing, something's going to happen with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's a big hater of mine. And so now I'm going to go do Joe Rogan, and he's going to say, well, fuck you and bullshit. And I'm going to say, shut up, bitch. I'll take you out and show you a Sasquatch. But is he really going to get success? Is he really clean? Because I know about you two guys. I've seen some bullshit with people, and I don't know what to think about Joe Rogan and how he's good for this discovery. But I know that Don Frye and Dan Severn, you guys are special. You're cut from a different way. And I would like to hear your perspectives, please.
I like Joe. Joe's a good guy. He really is a decent, really good guy. He just Joe's had so much bullshit thrown at him. You know, he's really he expects it like being a cop. A cop thinks everybody's fucking lying. You know, yeah. You know, you're trained. Is that like your first lesson? Everybody's a fucking liar.
No, well, you go by intuition, right? And you're right. I mean, Joe sees so much information cross his plate. You know, yeah, he's got to really put it through a filter. I think if he takes a real close look at what you're talking about, Todd, I think Joe's very open-minded too. He really is. You know, and if the science is there, and I believe it is. Just to go back to what you were talking about on the health and wellness side, you know, Dan, in relation to medical cannabis, Don as well. When you smell the cannabis, Dan, when you were at the facility, the terpenes, everything that Todd is talking about when you're in nature and you're smelling nature. I mean, there is health benefits to that. There's huge, and that's stuff we don't measure. You know, and it's funny relating back to the cannabis with the terpenes. I mean, there's real medicinal value to that stuff, but you don't correlate it to nature. You know, I think you've got an interesting tact, Todd, in regards to health and wellness. And
I'll just play off of what you just said there. The stuff there, Kevin. I mean, I know that like when I go out to my one little island property there, I'm basically out there by myself. So clearing wood, chopping wood, splitting wood. Right. I mean, there's a lot of physicality to it all, and then you're prepping of your own meals, and you know, I love always having like a little bonfire that's taking place, and there's nothing more relaxing to me just to see the fact that you've done all this big physical manual labor, and you're doing all the stuff to provide your heat. And that I got a wood stove that's a heating element that is for this cabin. So I enjoy that because I feel it keeps me back in tune to where I came from. You know, growing up on a farm, you know, you always had to take care of the animals first before you got taken care of. You have to do it at a certain time frame so that you can still walk up and catch the bus so you can go to school. And then when school is done, you don't just go home. You got your practices. It always depends on what time of season. Is it football season? Is it wrestling season? Is it track and field season? And so you might not get home, or you might have been to an away game or something like that, away match. It might be midnight by the time you get home. Guess what? You still have to take care of those animals at that point in time. So, yeah, I understand that responsibility. That's where, you know, I always kidly say that I've been living out of a planter pretty much most of I think probably by my junior, senior year, I was already living out of a planter because of all the wrestling I was doing during my summer months and that. Well, everyone else was just goofing off for the summer. I was like always looking for the next wrestling tournament, next one, so that I could gain recognition, I could gain achievement, so that I could go to college without having to pay for it. You know,
ambition. What about your hunting, Don? I'd like to hear about what you do and how you hunt.
Partner, I haven't been able to hunt in probably about 12, 15 years. Yeah, probably 08, because my back was started going bad on me probably in 02. And so I kept, you know, from 02 on till 2011. Yeah, I mean, I was all pilled up, you know, just cheating my way through it, you know, faking my way through it, and because it progressively got worse, and so did my drug usage, you know, to get there, you know, and that's a bad thing about it, you know. You just I'd go home to my doctor, say, just give me enough pills to make it to the next fight, you know. Yeah. And then every time it just turned like that.
What did you hunt though? Tell me about when you did hunt.
Oh hell, we hunted elk, deer, basically birds. Yeah, your quail, your dove. But yeah, we like I said, you get a mountain lion tag, and mountain lions are year round. Or you go out and shoot coyotes. Coyotes are just garbage eaters, of the animal world, and so that thing's they're a nuisance. So you can shoot them. You don't even need a license or a tag or anything. But yeah, you could pick up a wild mountain lion tag for $35 over the counter at Walmart.
Did you ever shoot a mountain lion?
No. Found a couple dead ones, and cut the head off, and I went home and boiled it. Had the skull, kept the claws. Nice. Yeah, they're beautiful animals. That's one of the things.
Amazing.
You got to question. Yeah, you got to question if you really want to kill one or not.
Yeah. Well, what's the purpose behind it, right? So I'm going to start meat hunting. It's difficult for me though because I admire I see what these animals go through and how hard it is for them to survive.
Right.
So I'm very cautious about wanting to be very equilibrium about it. Make sure that I'm harvesting the right animal, right time, and not damaging the species. Because I'll tell you, one of the things that really was the first thing I learned about Sasquatch is they herd the elk. They herd and keep the elk like they're cattle.
Yeah.
So, and that's the way they do that. Even what I found out too is, so as a hunter, you want to get a young elk. You don't want to get an old nasty one. You can't eat them. That's for trophies.
Right.
The edible ones are the prongers, the 2, 3, 4-year-olds, right?
Right.
And this biologist that I met from a national park here in Canada, he did a study on a herd that was being run by the Sasquatch, and he found out a stat that didn't make any sense. The mortality rate for the 4 and 3-year-olds was like 90%. They were getting picked off like crazy. And all the other individuals had a higher mortality rate, except these ones that should be the strongest and fittest. And when he talked to me about it, I told him, I said, it's the Sasquatch. They're picking the yummiest, tenderest elk, and they're mostly taking the bulls because boys, you only need one boy to breed 50. It's just like what a farmer would do. And he was just so much in denial until I showed him the tree breaks and the tracks. And then he saw a Sasquatch and he realized that this incredible species is just doing it's farming, but it's wild farming too. Like these are wild elk living out there. But when you're a big giant primate and you weigh as much and need to eat as much as they do, they're going to keep their herds, and they do keep their herds. And the way they live in that perfect equilibrium, it's something that we need to really understand, because it's amazing their relationship in nature, how we can find a way to find balance and to live healthy lives in all ways, from nature, not separating ourselves from it.
Now, are they omnivores, or are they just straight carnivores?
Omnivores. Yeah. I see. Well, I'm not going to lie, the other perplexing fact is the scat that I've ever found, I've only found scat 6 times. It's never seen any meat in it. Totally vegetative.
Really?
So I know they're herding the elk, and I've actually I know what an elk looks like when they kill an elk. One of the dead giveaways is they'll snap the ribs off the spine, and they'll suck the marrow out of the spine and on the end of the rib. So you'll find a carcass, and all the ribs are broken off by being snapped and sucked out, and that marrow is highly nutritious.
So they can digest raw meat then?
Oh, you know what? A Sasquatch would never besmirch himself to
cook
cooked meat. And I'm almost starting to feel that way. I actually can't eat cooked salmon anymore. I just eat it raw. Sushi got me on it.
Right.
And I'm starting to feel that way. As domesticated as I am, I don't want. It's like that salmon's cooked. Ugh, get it out of my fist.
Oh, I hate cooked fish. Nasty, right? I love sushi, but I hate cooked fish. Yeah.
Well, even meat.
Yeah, meat.
Who eats a good steak that's well done?
Right.
My dad would have disowned me. Right. If I put HP sauce, or if I ever ordered anything more than medium rare, he would have been like, "You're not my son."
Oh, I know.
He's the pop the horns off, wipe the ass, and throw it in a plate.
Call it done. So, call it done. Yeah.
What's
rare?
One of the questions I wanted to ask you, Todd, was the science of tree breaks, and structures, the tree structures. In regards to the herding of the elk and the tree breaks, you mentioned that. What is that all about? What's that all about?
Well, they are trying to communicate with us. The tree breaks are a form of communication, telling us to not go past these particular barriers. And of course, human beings completely disregard them and are completely ignorant about it. And and I'm going to swear, it blows my fucking mind how
Right.
ignorant human beings could be. Like a tree break, I demonstrate it really well. You guys would understand, like when you take this, what they're trying to do with the tree break is they're trying to impress upon you, not just that they're there, but the power they have. They take a tree that's, let's say, 5 inches thick, and they do a pressure break. So they'll break it like this, which is impossible for even a gorilla to do. I don't even know how they get the power to do this. So I look at these tree breaks and I'm absolutely fucking astonished. They don't use leverage. Like leverage, you can break it. They will literally, it's called a pressure break, and it shows because the break is so clean. Looks like snap the neck clean. And they do this and we disregard it and we don't understand it. And it just shows me how ignorant human beings are. To like, people will walk past it and walk under it, and the Sasquatch is up there going, what the fuck am I gonna do before it gets through to you pinkies that I'm trying to goddamn communicate with you? And they'll do dozens. I've seen hunters come out and go, holy shit, the whole forest is all fallen, and it's directional breaks pointing at his cabin saying, dude, you're cool, but don't go over here. And he will literally, these guys will, I go out and I try to demonstrate, dude, that's not nature. Like that doesn't happen naturally. They're trying to tell you something and let me help you, but people are so goddamn ignorant and, thinking that I'm crazy. I'm the guy out there saying wrestlers will whoop your ass. And I go, no, those kung fu guys are awesome and amazing. And they weren't, were they? How many?
Well, what's interesting is, when you had Meldrum out and Les Stroud,
Mhm.
and the way they were really looking at these tree breaks, it's fascinating. It's how is this done?
It's really, once I show people, you really feel like, wow, we're just that ignorant, aren't we? Like we've been looking at these things. Even I teach people all the time. And, this one guy in Montana is like, dude, there are tree breaks. They've been happening here since like my grandfather. Like there are 80-year-old tree breaks here. And we were completely disregarding them. And the Sasquatch are literally leaving us this fucking broken tree pointed right over the trail. Like, hello. Right. And we'll go, oh, no big deal. And I take out brilliant men like the PhDs, like Survivor Men. Survivor Men had no knowledge of this whatsoever. And now, I mean, he's absolutely convinced of the fact that this is done by Sasquatch.
Was he only ever out there one time, or has he been a couple excursions with you, Todd? Or
four different times he's been out in the world. We've done 4 episodes of Survivor Man Bigfoot, and every episode he live interacted with the Sasquatch. He actually got a photograph of the top of the head of a Sasquatch. So that's why the Joe Rogan thing comes in, because he goes on the Joe Rogan show, and Joe Rogan says, my footage is fake as fuck, quote unquote. And Les is like, well, I was out with him, and I'm not normal. I don't want to be normal. That would hurt my feelings. Les will say, the guy's a little out there. He does some crazy shit, but if you listen to what he has to say,
Now, what about
it's impressive.
What about the apples you leave for him to eat?
Yeah, well, this is how smart they are. If I put cameras out, first of all, these are the greatest trackers that have ever lived.
Yeah.
Those stupid cameras always have a piece of glass on them. You're never going to hide that. But what's happening that I hope people can understand is if I'm trying to trick them, if my intent is this apple comes with a consequence, that energy is off and they won't touch them. If I go out there and say, you're my teachers and I admire you and respect you, and I'm giving you this apple that's organic and clean to nourish your body out of respect for you being on this land, they take them every time. And I've proven it a dozen times. I just proved it last year. I had an expeditioner come out. He put an apple up and he said, I want him to walk over here so I'll see some tracks. This is a good, honest, amazing friend of mine. And I just shut my mouth and I said, can I record you saying that? And he put his apple up and they took every apple but that one, because his intent was derogatory and negative. And energy matters, guys. It matters so much when you're dealing with these beings. It should matter in every walk of life, shouldn't it?
It should, but that's not the world we basically live in, Todd. I'm curious as to how many Sasquatches are in a tribe, or is it just a family unit? How many are typically together?
Well, this is just my theory. Is it's a male-dominated troop, and he has a family with his harem of females. So I'd say I've seen as little as 5 individuals in a troop, and then I've seen potentially as many as 20. But again, that's just my working theory. There are other people talking to me about there's potentially
So
monogamous
they're
couples.
they're Muslim and Mormon then.
Right, right. So, well, it's gorilla. Gorillas do that. They have male dom, and that's what happens when the males are significantly larger than the females. It's called sexual dimorphism. So you can tell it to your girlfriend, well, I'm so much bigger than you, I'm not meant to be monogamous. But that's nature, right? Lions are much bigger than the lionesses, and therefore he commands a group. Whereas you get birds, males and females of the same side, they're monogamous, right? So, and it follows through with cheetahs and, so many different species. So I use nature, a combination of nature and human beings, or old world human beings, what the Native Americans and First Nations people did, because they seem to be kind of on both sides of the, they're the ultimate natural nature being, powerful and strong, bigger than a gorilla, but they have an intellectual capacity that even clearly, I'm not even making any bones about it. I've never seen any being so intelligent. Like I've looked in the eyes of a Sasquatch, and man, that individual was clean. I had feeling from him. I could understand what he was doing and why he was there. Like, they communicate with us in that way. And it's when you can get to that level and have that kind of connectivity with a brilliant species like that, it's just changed my life so dramatically that you can see the passion in me. So it's powerful. And I know this is going to be literally, this isn't just we discovered a billy ape. This is going to create a paradigm shift in the whole world that brings us back to integrity and truth. The old knight code, where we can literally have a politician up there and we can know what his intent is because we can feel it. You can't hide it from us anymore. We know what that man is about. We know what kind of goodness is in his heart because we can all feel it.
We had that. They cheated him out of office.
Right?
Yeah. Now, what's it going to take to make this discovery then?
My teachers are going to show me. It's literally a year ago, someone really put me to task and pushed me, and from my heart, I said 4 years, so now I have 3 years. The things that are going on right now are so amazing. What I've been learning, even in humanity, there's a movie called Fantastic Fungi, where it's talking about how we're so connected and how plants move us and all the things that mushrooms do in their connectivity, that nature is really speaking and communicating out there. And when you connect to it, you feel that. And, there are animal communicators out there like Anna Bachman. She's very famous. If you haven't seen it, you should watch she talks to a black panther. It's on YouTube. It's very incredible. It's impossible for her to have faked that. So these brilliant people are becoming very popular and famous. Even Third Eye Spies, where the CIA was doing remote viewing, where they can see what's going on far away and picture this stuff. Police officers have been using it, and psychics. This shit's been going on for a long time. It's just that we all have that ability, but if you train it and work it, it grows. And if you dumb it down and stare at a fucking device all day and worry about your social media and you're surrounded by electromagnetic fields, you're going to damage that ability, that natural ability, and it turns us into sheep. And that's got to end. We've got to line up, all of us. We've got to stand up for what's right, because I'm terrified that the sheep are going to start running things. It scares me, the way you're a victim and it's always abuse. And, I like the old way of thinking. I appreciate that. I know things had to change, but not to where the squeaky wheel and the victim is, everything.
In charge, right?
It's really an atrocity. And but that all ends with integrity. That all ends with complete honesty, and we can get there. We have to get there, guys. We have to.
Thank you for watching another episode of Dan and Don's Toxic Masculinity. You better like, subscribe, and share, or I'm going to come to your house.